So, with honey, and you're making out when the phone rings. Ooh, answer it, and the voice is...
What are you doing with my daughter?
Ooh, tell her, girl, and she say...
My dad is dead.
Then who
was phone? Hello and welcome to the premier spot on the internet for weird side horror. That's right, folks. This is the only spot on the internet where you can find just the weirdest horror stories that we can squeeze out of it like milk out of a malnourished cow.
Yeah, welcome to the Spoops podcast. And for those of you tuning in from whatever platform you're tuning in, thank you very much. If you really would like to interact with us, though, we ask that you head on over to our website. That is thespoopspod.com. It's a really great place. We're going to have different blog posts, interaction things. You can reach out, contact us through there. The episodes are posted there, and you can engage with those there. But also, we're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Basically wherever podcasts are podcasting, you'll find us there. So please feel free to, if the platform you're on now, you just kind of stumbled across us, and you normally get your listening content elsewhere. We're also on the Amazon podcast. So yeah, just swing on over, and we'll be waiting for you. So, real quick thing, I just want to do a quick shout out because it was a lot of work and it was really cool. We have a really nice new Then Who Was Phone thing just sitting right there. And yeah. Props go to Grandma, because man, that she spent we're talking months on this needlepoint thing, because I didn't realize how bad it was. Bad.
I also just want to state that when we talk about grandma, we're talking about our mutual, all shared grandmother, because we are all brothers-in-law, and we all share one grandma now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's me.
But no, so yeah. So just a huge shout out for that. And
it is gorgeous.
Yes, it is absolutely gorgeous. And in terms of, our viewer goals, listening goals, why don't we head into the cooler to listen to Steven?
Hi, thanks for watching the Spoops Pod. If you want, you could get 4 of your friends together for a viewing party, and we'll record you a custom introduction to the next episode of the podcast. They also might feed me if you do that. Fingers crossed. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, etc. at your earliest convenience for the sake of my well-being. We've also got some viewer goals just around the corner. At 100, we're going to do a dramatic reading of one of our previous story reads, like from a script. And at 500, not only will we be going to hunt the Waterford sheep squatch, but I might see the sun. Okay, we should probably stop now, because they're going to be back in a minute. And if I behave well and don't speak, Bradley and Josh might give me a blanket. I'll see you next time.
Well, thank you, Stephen, for those kind words. Just for anyone who's concerned after watching that video, he was not harmed any more than he chose to be. So I think it's important to cite where we get our stories from. And Josh, why don't you fill us in, because you kind of know a little bit more. I will say that our cryptid is still from the Cryptid Wiki, but in terms of our story, where did we get that?
Okay, so our story this week, you might have noticed that I've backed away from the failed horror that we've been saying that we are, because Look, there's a limited pool that you can dip yourself into when it comes to bad creepypastas. And that pool is filled 50% with SpongeBob, Lost Episode scripts, and then the other half is filled with
Roblox.
Square video games.
Yeah. Minecraft, Roblox, My Sims.
I went searching, I went digging for a bit, and I found a blog that has some of Chef's Kiss weirdest horror stories I think I've ever found. I pulled our story from here. It's a bit of a longer one, so we're going to have part 1 and part 2 inside of it. But this is one of the most fascinating stories I think we've ever read here on the podcast. Just fascinating because I feel bad for the headspace of the person who wrote it. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
Now, do you think it's just one person running this blog, or do we got multiple submissions here going on?
Okay, so how the blog works is that it's a curated blog, right? So the person doesn't like write it. It's like
gotcha.
They find samplings across the internet, and then they like post random things across the internet that are like weird and slightly horrific, all kind of in like the same breath. I'm not really sure if there's some sort of larger overarching like theme to it or whatever, but as far as I can tell, it's just things that they stumble across on like Reddit, and then they're like, oh yes, no. So like, for example, today's story was pulled from a dog owner's like blog space.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, Bradley, if you wouldn't mind reading the other response, and I will go ahead and read the main characters.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm looking for your help in identifying what dog breed my dog is. He kind of looks like a husky, but he's large. Like, really large. Like, too big to be a normal husky. The thing is that he kind of looks like pictures of wolves that I've seen, but they say online that wolves make horrible pets. And he's darn near the best dog I've ever had. He's well trained, he sits, he stays, he never pees in the house, and he is so easy to train. Sometimes it feels like he can understand me. I know everyone says that about their dog, but sometimes I feel like he can understand everything that I say. Here's a picture of Jake.
Hey, Sam. Jake is adorable. Where did you get him from?
Hi, Turtle Boxer 12. I don't really want to get into it. I found him on 1031. That should be enough said. Now, quick pause. I don't know what 1031 is because that's like traditionally Halloween. So
Yeah.
I don't know why the author didn't just like state Halloween. But it's 1031. Okay.
Okay. You're okay. A lot of bad stuff happened on 1031. There's a lot of trauma. I know it can be hard to share, but if you have never shared, I am here. I will listen. Well, I guess read. I want to hear how you met Jake.
All right. I guess I can share. I just don't complain about how long the story is. I guess the story starts with my old roommate. Her name was Alice, but she lived more like a Brittany, if that makes any sense. She lived like a bomb that was only ever 4 seconds from exploding. She wasn't the heart of the party, she was its soul. And what was more frustrating was that she was the complete package. She was beautiful, with brown hair that formed into effortless curls that touched the small of her back, almond eyes that men got lost in, and the face of perfect symmetry. We were in college. We were college roommates who decided to stick together, and all that time she never changed. She was confident, used to being the center of attention, and thrived in the spotlight. Maybe that's why we got along so well. She was everything I was not. I'm a short computer programmer nerd girl who loves observing. I loved watching her play with boys' hearts. She could be so calculated about it. She had a whole formula worked out, and by the end of most nights, she could have had random strangers proposing to her. Not that she wanted to get married yet. She just liked the game. On the night of 1031, she talked me into going to the other side of town to go to this big party that was at a nightclub. We all ignored the warning signs because we refused to believe that something like that could happen. The nightclub was hosting a Welcome to the Freak Show party, and people were encouraged to wear their favorite costumes. We dressed in a couple's outfit. She was the lion and I was the tamer. At the time, we thought it was cute. I was hanging out in the corner. Parties were never really my scene, and I just sat quietly and observed. She had tried to grab my hand and pull me onto the dance floor at some point, but I have a way of slinking out when I don't want to be seen. One of the things that haunted me the most about that night was the efficiency of it all. I remember looking at the clock, watching at the digital display slowly crept closer and closer to midnight. I was anxious, not scared. Then the DJ started counting down from 12. All of the music swelled to a throbbing mass. It was so loud that you couldn't hear yourself think. I remember glancing outside the window at the 5 or 6 count, and I could see 14 to 15 figures outside. It was hard to tell anything about them except that they all stood in a single row, just outside the club's entrance. Intermission! So, the reason that we took an intermission here is I want to hear your guys' predictions, because this is about to take a side turn that I don't think a normal person could see coming, especially considering that this was inside of like a dog owner's blog spot.
Yeah. One thing I would immediately like to point out is whatever's happening didn't happen on 10/31.
Happened on 10:30.
No, it happened on 11:01. Because if it was midnight on 10/31,
I think it's one of those things where it's like the New Year's Eve party takes place. So I think it was.
Well, yeah,
everybody was there at 10:29, and then
you mean 10:30, 10:31
at 10:30.
Yeah.
The party started at 10:30, and then it turned into 10:31.
So
right on the mark of.
Gotcha. So it wasn't a Halloween night party. It was a Halloween's
like really
Eve.
early. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So these are really intense Halloween people to be counting down to the day.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And there's something else that's kind of weird about the story is that there's a lot of emphasis that is placed on this particular Halloween.
Yeah. I wish we knew the year. Because I mean, I know there's been lots of weird, like different Halloween pranks and stuff that have happened that could have gone seriously wrong.
Trauma is a strong word, though.
Yeah. Well, like I don't know.
Oh,
like,
trust me. When we get to the rest of the story, you will see.
I think
you will see.
I think I think the most glaring one would be the how we talked about earlier in the podcast. The clowns, the crazy clown.
Yes, the crazy clowns.
That was like on Halloween
was
clowns were going to kill the world. I mean, it didn't happen, but
Yeah.
like that's so like that would be trauma. But
Indeed.
Well, I think if it helps you at all, the timestamps that were included in this on the blog, was that it was marked for like 2018.
Okay.
So this was written sometime
after that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
So really, I do need some predictions from you boys here.
Well, people are gonna die. That's
okay.
What's her name? I just remember her.
Sam.
No, Alice.
Alice. Yeah.
Alice, who's a Brittany.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Is going to be.
I love
dead.
the way that's phrased, by the way, because of all the Britneys I ever know inside of my life, they live like Britneys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. She dead.
Okay.
That's
so
my
your prediction is that
is-
Brittany is dead.
Well, Alice is dead.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. No, she did. That's my prediction. Because for someone to lean so heavily and talk with so much love about this person, she gone.
She gone.
Yeah, there's a lot of build up there. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a focus for sure.
Unless she gets converted to something, and that, like, I guess I shouldn't say she's dead. She's just no longer in Sam's life.
Okay.
Also, What the heck kind of username is Turtleboxer12?
I don't know. They're all animal lovers, so I don't know.
Animal lover, yes.
Animal
Turtle
pet
boxer.
Yeah.
Doesn't equate much to love.
My favorite way to love on my animals is to punch them repeatedly in a
But they
ring
got
for
the
points.
shell. They got the shell, so it helps toughen up the fist.
Oh, man.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Helps toughen up the
Right, so that you can go box actual people.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say it's like when you punch a tree over and over again to
Yeah,
strength.
yeah, like Tigress
you
in
just
Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, you just have taped your turtles to a wall and you
Right.
just punch.
Punching the ironwood, man. Just
Oh man.
I think I have the weird feeling that this might be an intentional mislead, and like a dozen or so people are just going to make their way in and just absolutely just flash mob the place.
It's going to be all just an elaborate flash mob.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
something
yeah.
horrible happens after this, but I feel like if just an elaborate flash mob happened, I would want to mention it. Probably.
Okay, yeah.
It's either that or it's going to be very similar to this moment in a Method album that I listened to, like a metal Method album, where the main character just like goes into a bar and just kills everyone. It's hard to say. It's one of those two.
Yeah, and like somebody
This is very
like
menacing.
you, Josh. If people just started to flash mob, that would be quite traumatizing for you.
Look at the move in sync. Like in sync.
Now there is a horror story for another day. People who can somebody like infects your brains so that you all have to dance in the exact rhythm of how he is dancing, and it's all incredibly methodical.
Didn't this happen?
Oh,
There's a story.
yeah,
I don't know.
There
if
is a story.
I think it's rooted in history, actually. That there was.
Yeah,
something,
he was like the real world Pied Piper. I just don't remember the
or, like,
story.
well, what I'm remembering is I think it's a similar thing to like the Salem witch trials, where there was like something wrong in the bread, and there was a whole town that didn't they literally?
Oh
just
no!
dance
Are
to
you talking?
death?
You're talking about the town in France. Not everybody
Yeah.
in the town died, but
Yeah.
people did dance themselves to death. They danced they couldn't stop dancing for like 2 months. The only way that they stopped the people dancing was by taking them to a shrine of a saint, strapping them down hard on a bed so they were still like trying to twitch and move, and then be rolled up to the saint and then like left there overnight. That was the way that they broke the curse.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy stuff. Look it up.
Real world spoops.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get to the real world spoops that's in front of me, which is what is inside of this mug, which is really sad to me because I really like this mug. So I'm worried this might permanently
Beyond
pollute it.
saving.
I was gonna say I'm gonna give it. So
Seasoning it like a cast iron pan. Now, before you do that, you're gonna get to have a good experience first. Go ahead and put that down for a moment, because I wanna give you.
Oh my gosh, how much did you add? Oh, it's so strong.
So we have a can in front of us here.
Yeah, go ahead and elevate it above our central frame there.
So it's the Rocket Pop.
Yeah, and read for me.
Okay.
Yeah, read for me what that says, like all the brand name and the flavor and stuff.
Accelerator Rocket Pop. Natural flavors.
So
Well, at least it's natural.
So go ahead and just grab a sip of that.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah, just that's pretty good, isn't it?
He doesn't seem to agree.
You don't seem convinced.
Artificial.
That's fair. That's fair. Now,
Why do people keep using the artificial flavoring? Sweetener. Why is it that artificial sweetener is so vogue right now? Let me just drink my sugar in peace.
See, I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But that being said, for something like give me that read one more time. The
Accelerator Rocket Pop.
flavor palette is underwhelming compared to the name.
Yeah.
I saw that and I decided I'm going to elevate this to its potential. So what you have in front of you is a custom creation of my own making that I would like to refer to as the stratosphere. Go ahead and give it a cursory stir because it requires a little bit of blending.
I was going to say, for those of you who cannot visually see, we have our mugs in front of us with a white plastic spoon, and when I remove this, and it kind of shows up on camera, the spoon is now dyed orange. And if I just...
And the drink is clear. Like the can is clear.
Yeah, no, he definitely used buffalo sauce.
It's true. That's not the only thing I use, though.
And that's what scares me.
Oh, gosh, I just took a sip. Yeah, that is vile.
Okay, well, to the homeland.
Indeed. I would do a dink and sink here. I believe this merits.
Will you do me the favor of dinking? How much of a sip do we need to take here?
I would say at least a shot.
What did you do to that? What did you do?
Everything hurts.
It's not bad though.
So
If I was a fan of a spicy drink, I'd be into that.
Yeah. Oh.
So what you've just ingested is the unique creation of a third of a can of the Accelerator Rocket Pop, a quarter of a bottle of Frank's Red Hot, and just to top it off, a single one of those, they come in the creamer pods, the stock energy shots.
Yeah.
One of those.
Okay, now I do want to state, and I was trying to figure this out, why it has this background flavor. You didn't buy special Frank's Red Hot sauce for this one, right?
I just bought like a regular off-the-shelf bottle. Yeah, it's just regular.
Oh, okay,
Frank's.
no. Okay, so you didn't use the bottle that was inside of the refrigerator here.
Oh, no. Heavens, no.
Okay, because I thought I picked up pickle juice, and I was like, that's pickle-infused Frank's Red Hot sauce. But no, okay, I was wrong on that one.
No. Yeah.
Oh,
Psychosomatic. How's the feel as it's descending?
Not great.
Yeah, like you feel it burning its way all the way down to your stomach.
It just feels like I have heartburn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess this is my thing. Like the taste wasn't bad, but the second it hits your stomach's like, that's way too much hot sauce all at once.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like that is like, I would keep drinking this if it wasn't for that.
Really?
Yeah, if you, instead of using a quarter of a bottle, had used eighth of a bottle?
I was going to say like 6 to 12 shakes of the bottle, like enough to imbue the flavor.
This would be a regular sipper for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
I'm a fan of Buffalo.
And I like the concept of a spicy drink.
Yeah. I've talked about it before. I don't think on this podcast, but over in Waterford, there's a coffee shop, and they took a chai tea and they added cayenne pepper flakes to it, and they called it a hot Mexican hug. That was delightful because it just gave you a little bit of that like back palate burn after you drank the chai latte. And I love that. Hate this, love that.
Like, this is awful. This is just the worst. More to come, my friends. Oh, he's going in for another.
Kind of forgot what the flavor was there for a second. I need to remind myself.
Sometimes fortune does not favor the bold.
It's like... It's impressive. The flavor is predominantly Frank's Red Hot sauce.
Yeah.
Except carbonated.
Yeah.
And a little bit fruity.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like the fruitiness isn't the issue. It's just, it's so hot.
Yeah.
That like the stomach instantly is like, no.
It's like what your stomach would do if you just drank vinegar.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Well, see, recently I had my second anniversary, and my wife wanted to celebrate by going to
Margaritaville.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, that too.
Yeah. So we were at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I was like, we never order wings. This is my chance. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to get Buffalo original flavored wings.
Yeah. Right around like 12 o'clock on the heat scale. Yeah.
And I couldn't. I would eat one wing at a time and then spend like 7 minutes drinking the rest of the Mountain Dew Legend. And
what were you doing with the wings? Because you just didn't eat them plain. You had
ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez. With the ranch, it was like difficult.
Look, people don't understand just how weak sauce I am when it comes to spice. I have zero spice ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember how we were talking about how, you had to watch your acidity drinking? Yeah. And then you just...
this may not be helping. I don't think this is going to help that.
It's a whole new world.
Well,
Pain.
A whole new culinary palette.
so... yeah, let me move on to my cryptid here. Because I have no smooth way to transition. Actually, no, here, I got one. Well, that drink was hot. This next cryptid's cold. Indrid cold, that is.
Oh.
But no,
I like that.
yeah. So, when we come to type, it's an alien. First sighting was in 1966, and he's still been sighted recently. I'm going to burp. Ooh.
The heat burps stop eventually.
Why did your wife just text the group chat zombies? Oh, Zumba. Okay.
Have you recommended that for your movie marathon today?
No. Zombies.
Zombies.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
So, Injured Cold, commonly known as Smiling Man, is an allegedly humanoid entity. The nickname comes from the being's tendency to smile at almost everyone that encountered him. It is said that he still visits West Virginia to this day, which, I mean, it's in West Virginia. Like, that's just a creepy place to begin with.
Well, I mean,
Dude.
Like, when the majority of the populace only has 2 teeth, you just...
Somebody
you
hears-
watch your mouth, okay? West Virginia is a beautiful place.
You're
It's for
alone.
lovers.
Josh, you're alone. No, Virginia's for lovers. West Virginia is for meth.
It's a beautiful countryside. All the mountains everywhere, just gorgeous. Absolutely.
Oh, the coke shops
extravagant.
everywhere, smoking.
Can I ruin it for you in an instant and give it a total The Hills Have Eyes feel?
Okay.
So years from now, someone is going to listen to this episode and they're gonna submit a comment, and I'm saying this for the person who has this moment where they realize what I'm talking about. You have to comment now because you know exactly what I'm talking about and you've seen it, and I'm going to seem like a crazy person until you do. So we go on vacation in the Outer Banks once a year. And every year we wind up cutting through West Virginia. And
As one does when you're going down south.
indeed, yeah, like the East Coast route is you just cut through both of the Virginias and then into North Carolina.
Yeah.
And West Virginia is the one place after this one experience is the one place in the entire trip where I'm like, this is the state we're not stopping in. We get gas at the end of PA and we get gas again at the start of like regular Virginia. And don't stop. And I've got a good reason for this.
Oh, no, I'm with you.
You know all the characters in the YMCA music video?
Yeah.
You know, like you got the construction worker and you've got like the Native
Indian,
American chief and like you get into
the token black guy.
yeah. Jeez. It was like a sad, decrepit version of the YMCA guys. You come into the state and there's the big Welcome to West Virginia sign, and it's up on a cliff, like probably 100-ish feet up, something like that. It's one of these big like shale cliff sides. And up at the top of it is just, and I'm not kidding about this, and they took it down like the year after this happened, and I don't know who put it up. I don't know who took it down. Just mannequins. Just in a line, dressed like a crappy rendition of YMCA. Like yellowed and falling apart. Like their clothes were torn and stuff.
How is that supposed to ruin it for me? That's delightful.
That was the moment I was like, I really wish we had grabbed gas about 20 minutes ago, because that really sets the tone for our whole time in the state.
You see, the only thing I remember about West Virginia at all is when I went down to Disney with my family back when I was in kindergarten. And that was the first and only time I think that I've seen prison bars on a country fair.
Oh, come now. You've just never been downtown Erie.
That's fair. Well, and I get the impression you don't stop at many 7-Elevens or many like inner city Circle K's.
Well, yeah, and
it's
like
pretty common actually.
Or like
Well,
Central
yeah.
PA weed shop /
yeah.
well, no, and And I completely agree with you. In inner city settings, I am used to seeing that. I'm talking about nothing else is around, nothing.
Just in the middle of the woods.
Just in the middle of the woods.
Yep, that's very West Virginia.
Prison bars. Like,
Yeah.
I'm used to, when you have a lot of people who are generally out at night, you'll see bars on windows just to prevent theft. And I am completely for that. Like at the mini mart that we stopped at when we went into Ohio had that. And I'm used to seeing that in those scenarios. What I am not used to seeing is something that looks like small town Waterford, PA, actually smaller like Mill Village, PA,
Yep.
have prison bars in the window.
Yeah. Dude, West Virginia
you
is the
guys
state.
just don't appreciate the mountains and the beautiful forests, the gorgeous valleys that are there.
Yeah. Bradley, what's the state that first comes to mind when I say origin place of a demonic cult?
Yeah, West Virginia.
West Virginia. It's like genuinely, like I'm saying this now, all of our fans in West Virginia, whenever you hear this,
I love you, West Virginia.
we're farming you for content.
I'm going to go and move to West Virginia one of these days. Okay,
Don't you hear that?
Podcast is moving to Zoom.
Okay, that's definitively not true. I mean, we're not. My wife wants to move to like Tennessee, but I got my eyes on you, West Virginia.
Wisdom.
Beautiful mountains. All I'm saying, gorgeous mountains and gorgeous. Tell me about Injured Cold.
Yeah, let's get back to Injured Cold now that we've talked about West Virginia.
It's gorgeous.
I'm not surprised. But no, so the grinning man is reportedly to be, human-like in appearance and is associated with UFO activity, which is why he's also associated with Men in Black.
Yeah.
The classic MIB. In his first sightings, he was described as being over 6 feet tall and wearing a reflective green suit with a black belt. He had a dark complexion and small beady eyes set far apart. He was described as not having any nose, ears, or hair. So, Voldemort.
Perfect.
Just tan. A tan Voldemort. But other than that, he was perfectly natural. Was slicked back. Wait, what? Oh, in his second known encounter. Okay. I was I must have skipped a line somewhere. Okay. In his second known encounter, though, his suit was said to be blue instead of green, but still retained its reflective property. Other than that, he was described as looking perfectly normal, with slick back hair, a coat with the top 2 buttons unbuttoned, and having pants lighter than the coat, but still the same material. He was also described as being quite tan, though not dark, and looking like any normal human being.
So his clothes were weird?
Pretty differing accounts, yeah.
Yeah, so I like the
suave Voldemort thing though.
Yeah, so I guess the only thing that really changes is that he's grown hair. He changed his suit, which good for him. A man needs more than one suit. Mm-hmm. A man needs at least 3. A
man needs at least 7, one for every day of the week.
Mm-hmm. You don't know the Steve Harvey mix and match method? You need a black. All right. Let's see if I can quote this word for word. You need a black suit, you need a tan suit, you need a blue suit, you need a dark blue shirt, you need a powder blue shirt, you need 2 white shirts, and you need a gray shirt. And any of those combinations you can match at any time. I think those are all of them.
Yeah.
I think it might be more though.
Maybe more shirts.
It might be a cream-colored shirt. There's a cream-colored shirt.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. So
sorry, that was obscure and weird.
The only thing that is the same between these accounts is the fact that he's always grinning, he's always tall, and he always looks dapper and reflective.
So he's a gregarious fellow.
Yeah. Also,
this is just a guy I aspire to be, basically.
So his third sighting is where things get a little weird. So, in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, the Lilly family had been reporting poltergeist activity in their home, such as diamond-shaped lights. The Lilly's daughter, Linda, was sleeping one night and awoke to see a man standing over her. It was a man, a big man, very broad. I couldn't see his face very well, but I could see that he was grinning at me. He walked around the bed, stood right over me. I screamed again and hid under the covers. When I looked again, he was gone. This time he had a non-reflective black suit. So there's his third suit.
This is just Slenderman. I'm sorry.
No,
Slenderman don't got a face.
Yeah, he don't got a mouth.
That's fair.
It's Slenderman with a mouth.
So this is just yoked high-vis creepy Voldemort?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing? I'm so confused.
Hello, little girl.
He has a trading card
Wakey,
in the
wakey.
game MetaZoo, Cryptid Nation, which now I want to get the trading card game MetaZoo, Cryptid Nation.
Yeah, we absolutely need to cover that.
Yeah. So he was, again, originally believed to be an alien, but with this third sighting, it suggests that he may be some kind of ghost or spirit that is connected with alien activity. Or it's just a man with mental illness.
You know, if we ever do senior superlatives for all of our cryptids, his is going to be most likely to ask you about your vehicle's extended warranty.
I've been trying to contact you about your vehicle's extended warranty.
Pulls covers overhead.
Yeah. So that is
Delightful.
that is Indrid Cold, a man who would dress you up dapper and smile at you while doing it. Unlike the people that fitted me for your wedding, Josh.
Yeah, they gave me a shirt that was too big and you a shirt that was...
I think they switched our shirts.
No, that's the
prevailing theory.
Oh, man.
I look like a marshmallow man.
And I look bad.
It looked like at any second you could flex and just bing, 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 bing.
Which would be super cool, honestly.
Be super cool if it was muscle. Less cool when it's just belly flopping out.
That's fair. So, like, does he ever do anything like malicious?
No, he doesn't do anything. He just walks around, smiles at everybody, and apparently in one instance stares at you while you're trying to sleep.
This gives like very similar energy to like my wife before we were married lived in an apartment on like the main street in the small town of Waterford, and it was right across the street from a bar that is called the Poor House, and they would just have people stumble out of the bars after last call at like 2:00 in the morning and just fall asleep in the stairwell of the stairwell to their apartment. And it was no big deal because there's locks on both sides basically. So they would just wind up like, it was just dry, warm for the evening. And, but they would have these awkward encounters with just people waking up trying to figure out how they got there. This guy feels like that. This guy feels like finding a random drunk dude in your stairwell at 6 a.m.
I know this is crazy, but how did I get here?
Whose clothes are these? They're not mine.
Hi there, child.
I guess it would make sense with the reflective gear because he knows he's going to be stumbling around half drunk.
Yeah.
So he's like, at least people will see me.
This high vis is for my safety, not yours.
Hi there, young child. I seem to have misplaced myself. Would you be able to tell me what address we are at? What city we're in? Are we on...
Who's the president?
We're Earth, right, though?
And he communicates only with his mind. Just that's why the girl didn't get anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And why he can smile all the time.
All right, let's go ahead and descend down.
I was gonna say let's recap because it's been about.
Oh no, we didn't rate yours.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, what do we rate Indrid Cole out of 5? 5 being the spookiest, 1 being not spooky.
He's like 2 because like nothing malicious.
Yeah.
I mean, terrifying to see a smiling man. Like, I think that's the creepiest thing is seeing somebody smiling in today's day and age.
If you wake up tonight, I'm going to sneak into your house tonight so I can you'll just wake up to me going, and then I'll let you rate after that.
Won't be hard. We didn't even close our door last night. So, like,
how is that possible? My wife has me do a whole security check 3 times over, and then she'll hear something downstairs because our house is maybe haunted, and then she'll be like, someone's in here, they're going to kill us, you have to go check.
Yeah, no, so here's what happened. I don't know why neither one of us checked the door last night, but we didn't. And when I woke up this morning, I went out and our main door, because it's like it'll close, but then sometimes you have to like lean into it to actually like
to latch,
close it.
Yeah.
It was in that where somebody had just shut it and nobody like pushed on it to close it. So yeah, no, I just looked and there's like a crack of daylight coming through and I'm like, Huh.
Were there now donuts left on a counter?
I will state though, door was locked. It wasn't closed, but it was locked.
You just find
Locked doors don't matter to the donut man.
You just find a tall, dark figure seated on your counter. What about second breakfast? 11sies?
Okay, so yeah, no, I'd say like a 2 or a 3 probably.
I'm giving him a 1.
Do you want me to break into your house and smile and make you move?
That's going to be my wife who freaks out. If I wake up to somebody smiling over me, I'm going to go, oh, well, at least he's happy.
As Katie just like murders me.
Katie will wake up and go, and just produce the various knives and just go to town, and I'll be like, oh, well, it was pleasant.
Yeah. We'll have rotisserie, man.
No, Josh won't eat human. Remember when I was going to fight the knot deer? He said he wouldn't eat my turkey.
Because it goes without saying. Yeah, definitely.
So, what do you
If
rate
you
it,
guys
Steven?
have studied the whale ship Essex, you know cannibalism never works out. It can keep you alive, but it will be like drinking unicorn blood from the Harry Potter series. It'll mess you up.
But in all the best ways. It's so fun. It's just crunchy goodness.
Plus prion disease.
Crunchy cartilage.
Plus prion disease.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah, me and the brain eating things are not friends. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. I'm giving it a 1 personally because honestly, over the years, I've gotten really accustomed to people just waking me up in similar ways to that, with very little regard for how I will feel about it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And I think after the initial like kind of wore off, I'd be like,
I think I'd be
can
more.
can I buy you coffee? Why are you? Why?
You see, it would have been, gosh, it was it last weekend? Yeah, I think it was last weekend. I was really tired, and I'm like, I'm going to bed. My wife was still on her laptop playing Sims, and she's like, oh, I'm coming in shortly. I was like, cool. Like, take your time. I'm crashing sitting here on a couch. Like, I need to lie down.
I'm migrating now.
Yeah. And so I went and I laid down and I like immediately zonked out. And so her account of the story is she tried to sneak in. The cat was like trying to bat at, her as she was like taking off her necklace and stuff and getting ready for bed. Anyways, I come to, and all I see, because she had apparently bent down to like do something with the cat, is like I like wake up due to noise and open my eyes, and her eyes are like right eye level with mine, and we're just staring at each other. And I'm like, hello? Is there a reason you're watching me sleep right now? Is it a good reason?
The other day, Katie went down to go to the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
She hates the dark, and she hates the dark and stairs in a combination, right? So the bathroom's at the bottom of the stairs, our bedroom's at the top of the stairs. So Katie goes running up the stairs. Now it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm fast asleep. So I wake up to... and then she like dive bombs onto the bed. So I'm like, ah!
I would have peed. I would have actively just wet the bed.
Yeah. The next morning, Katie, because I barely remember it, but Katie was like, yeah, you yelled at me. And I was like in anger. And she was like, no, you went, ah! And I was like, at least it was manly this time.
You see, I normally don't yell. It's normally just a... as I just like fall out of the bed.
Like the physical equivalent of a fainting goat.
Yeah. I was going to say, you've seen it.
Yeah.
That one time we were playing Spooky House of Jump Scares and the thing came and I stood up, went, boom, and just fell on the ground.
That's awesome.
And you just started playing for me instead.
Yeah, because there was an active threat on screen at that given second. You were going to die. I didn't want our progress to be lost.
Physically, I might have died too, but
Was this when you guys were playing Outlast? Was this Outlast?
No. This was Spooky's House of Jump Scares. The
I see.
little cartoon hallway run simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Oh
one.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a level that was based
I
off
thought
of
this was
what.
something scary like Outlast.
No.
It was
Bradley's never played a big boy scary game.
No, it was based off of like the SCP or no, what was it? Where like you kept cycling the same. It was that PlayStation exclusive game.
The staircase.
No. It's the
It was
hallway where.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
it was the teaser for the new Resident Evil thing or the new Silent Hill thing that they never did.
Yes,
Yes, I know what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
it was awesome,
So-
and it was
So-
was actually scary.
Well,
No.
They made a reference to that.
It was
in
their,
this
like,
game.
play
And
on words
Yeah,
to
so
that
you
one.
just had to keep running around this loop and trying the door, and the door wasn't opening, and I kept running. Door wasn't opening. Kept running around in circles, and then all of a sudden, this monster comes out of nowhere and just like dummy rushes your screen and just fills up the screen, which causes me to stand, jump, throw off headphones, go, and then fall. Like, I legit passed out for like seconds before I came back to and was like, what happened?
is there still like
No.
Is this,
No.
it's gone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Actually, I
know.
don't even know if we were recording. I think we were just, play testing to see if we
Yeah.
could get good reactions out of me.
We need a diverse NFT collection of gifs of Bradley just having heart attacks.
Yeah. Johnny's Discord has those.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because he also used me for content. Had me play Fazbear Party Simulator or whatever.
Oh yeah.
We the boys need to go to a haunted house or something this year.
I already
Yes.
did that, and I hated it. I went to 13 levels of fear. You all let the person who admitted us into one of the horror houses. Okay,
We have a horror podcast, Bradley.
Here's how good my friends are. Okay, so normally the person who lets you into the thing doesn't get to do a lot of the scaring. They heard, this kind lady heard that I am easy to jump scare. Like, beyond easy. It's like, cool. Follows us in. Walks past all, 8 people I was with who all just let her walk past them without saying anything. So she could
I was giving her the thumbs up while she walked by.
Yeah, so she could tap me on the shoulder, have me turn around, and then went, whoo, and I went, because I was not expecting to be followed into the horror house.
Oh, the other day,
He said, "I'm aware of everything in this part of the radius."
Well, they sent me forward. They're like, you go to the front of the line. That way you get to experience everything first. Nobody told me to expect stuff from behind.
so
It was like, I wasn't even in there for a full 30 seconds before I freaked out.
So the other day at church, I'm here, right? Mm-hmm. And I see Rosie walk by, the church secretary, and I'm like, I've got a cup of coffee. I'm like, I could sneak up on her and I could scare her because I always get good reactions from her when I do. But I won't, not today. I don't want to be that person. So I dart into a side room for a second because I'm looking for something, and then she walks past, and then I also have to go out and then make a turn, right?
Yeah.
So I come up behind her, and my nose was slightly congested that day, so I sniffed, right? And Rosie went, wheeled around, double arms back, pulled an arm muscle, slammed herself into a shelf, and then collapsed on the ground.
Oh my gosh, dude, you killed her. She's dead.
Just about, yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Closed casket.
I remember when we went to 13 levels of fear. I think my favorite part about that whole night was when we were in the hotel one, and we got jump scared from the girl who and it was you and me up front. So we both got scared pretty good.
Oh, I'm
and
a
then
little scaredy cat inside of those things.
We're like, where do we go next? And she just sticks her arm out from behind the curtain and points to where we need to go. Because Josh and I stood there for 30 seconds, too scared to think. Where do we go next?
They put so much strobe lights and fog and stuff inside of there that it's really hard for me to visually orientate things inside of there. So I'm just, all right. So let's get back into the story. Okay. So is everybody ready for, Okay, so quick recap. Girl wants to know what dog she has, so she goes to dog forum.
And now we're in 1031.
We're midway through, yeah, and we've been talking a lot about 1031.
Well, we're 5 seconds away from 1031.
Yeah.
Yes, we're about 5 seconds away from 1031, and she's in a nightclub. The nightclub's doing a Welcome to the Freak Show event, and she's dressed like a lion tamer. These are all important things.
Wait,
to have.
I thought she was a lion.
No. Alice is dressed like the lion.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. Okay. I must have gotten the orientation wrong.
Okay.
My bad.
Sorry. I just read the first sentence. Okay.
A little nervous.
Okay, and Bradley's prediction was maybe has something to do with the 2016 clown purge.
Yeah.
Alice is definitely going to be gone, and people are about to start dying. And yours was that this was about to be a flash mob.
Flash mob or everyone's dead.
Okay. Then at midnight, the music shifted to Send in the Clowns, and we could hear the honking.
Not the honking.
I think I even Snapchatted it to my friend in London. They came in, 15 clowns, some so short and squat that it looked like you took a normal-sized man and pushed him down, and others so tall and slender that it looked like a man's bones had been stretched like taffy. Even ignoring their figure, their faces were so comedically happy that it didn't look possible. Something about the eyebrows and cheeks seemed to reach impossible heights and proportions. You could tell instantly the difference between the posers and the real deal. They just stood in front of us. They just stood in front of all the exits, staring. There was a clown that was taller than the others. He had to hunch over as his head scraped against the ceiling of the club. His arms and legs were so thin and brittle that it looked like they could snap at any second. He put his long, slender, spider-like fingers into his coat pocket and produced a small jack-in-the-box. He began to crank, and the whole club just stood spellbound. Then the jack-in-the-box went off. A little clown puppet emerged from the box. It swung forward and backward methodically. The clowns just stared at us, then back at the box before returning to us. They all seemed to be waiting for our response. Then it was Alice who screamed, and the spell was broke. People started trying to run in every direction, running into the clowns who were standing in front of the exit. The clowns' face changed. Their hair went from rainbow-colored to red, and their faces somehow became twisted in cruelty. They produced weapons from inside of their coats, or their oversized pants. Bowling ball pins, oversized wrenches, and other random assorted objects. I watched as one of the shorter ones pulled out a square that he kept unfolding until it turned into a moderately sized sedan. He got in, and 7 other clowns came pouring out.
I'm sorry.
He got in, and 7 other clowns came pouring out like liquid.
What the heck kind of spelling of sedan is that? Like, is that supposed to be the car sedan?
Yes, that's supposed to be the car sedan, I
Spelled
think.
Sudan.
Like the country sedan. So I'm just laughing at the intended humor, and you're laughing at the wow.
Wow, he pulled the whole country out of his pocket. He started sitting in the sedan. Well, no.
Okay, sorry.
This is
continue.
2018 before the current crisis. The panic didn't truly start until the tallest clown dropped the jack-in-the-box, and then he grew in size as he got onto all fours. His limbs barely resembled anything human, just long, thin, flesh-colored spikes. His mouth grew in size, and his laugh deepened as it happened. Suddenly, he dashed forward and ate a man whole. A sudden snapping forward like a crane eats a fish. He tipped his head backwards, and you could just see the figure of the man as it got pulled down the neck, already stretched too tight, and it was shoved into his stomach. The clown couldn't move. It was weighed down too much, but it tried to reach across the room and scoop in more people into its open mouth. Other clowns bashed people with their weapons and then dragged them forward towards the struggling clown. They pointed and laughed, leaving their victims just outside of the range of the tallest clown. Then they would shove a person just a little closer until the tallest clown could reach a person with its stick-like arm. Every so often, the tallest clown would do it wrong, and a bit of his arm would break off. It would stop laughing then, and then it would scream out an agonized scream that would make the floor shudder and shake. The other clowns would point and laugh particularly hard whenever it happened. Some doubled up and wheezed. Eventually, the tallest clown became so large and engorged that it burst. Okay, sorry.
I'm getting very, very Attack on Titan vibes.
I want a Souls-like of this. I want a Souls-like game made of this. Could you imagine this as a boss fight? I would be peeing.
Okay. People came sliding out of its stomach like anchovies from a can.
Oh, I hate that.
They would suddenly start coughing, spitting out lungfuls of confetti and pinkish syrup. Then one by one, they would grab their heads and start screaming before slumping over and not moving. While they lay there unconscious, their skin began to bubble and warp. It turned white, their hair becoming multicolored and curly, their lips oversized and red. One of the shorter clowns took out an oversized needle laced with red thread and laced it and sewed up the tallest clown's stomach. The other clowns kept bringing more and more victims, and the second the last clown had finished the last stitch, they began shoving the victims into the tallest clown's limp mouth, massaging the people down. I was lucky because I had my father's old bullwhip.
That's not luck. That's preparation.
He had worked at some university for years, and he had taught me how to...
What? Oh!
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Clearly an Indiana Jones reference there. Okay. He had worked at some university for years, but he had taught me how to use it. At the time, I thought it was funny that I knew how to use a whip. I would flick cigarettes out of people's mouths, but I never knew that one day it would save my life.
Lion Tamer, that's why they had the... Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you just... Yeah, no, okay. It all tracks. It makes sense.
3 clowns tried to rush me, but I managed to keep them at bay. I cut one of them across the cheek, and a small trickle of rainbow-colored blood leaked down his cheek. His appearance shifted, no longer happy and tormenting, but suddenly sad. He fell to his knees and started pulling out a comically large handkerchief, and he kept pulling and pulling, and I suddenly realized that if I didn't run right then, I'd be murdered along with everybody else. The other clowns were busy ripping and tearing and laughing. I looked around the room trying to find where Alice was, and it didn't take long. 4 clowns held her down as a 5th smashed a cream pie in her face. They let her go as she wiped the cream off of her face. She started to run and then slumped and fell. They grabbed her and then pushed her foot into a sack the size of my hand. They kept shoving, and more of her was swallowed by the small velvet bag. I still have dreams about that moment, about her face smeared with some sort of cream, almost calm as it was pushed into a hole the size of my fist. I always wake up and vomit when I do. I ran out of the bar, but not without some of them noticing me. I heard their noses honking like some sort of messed up hunting horn as I spilled onto the street, slipping over the puddles of something wet by the doors. I heard them behind me, a frantic series of squeaking and stumbling as their oversized shoes caused them to trip and fall. I remember barely being able to see as I pelted forward into a street filled with fire and chaos. Manic laughter and screaming mixed into the slush that was pelting the streets. I can't even really remember how I escaped to this day. All I know is that I ended up in an alley. I was sheltering by an upturned car. The screaming had mostly stopped. Instead, the air was filled with the kind of organ music that you only hear by their nests. Not the kind you hear, but the kind you feel. I remember the scene so vividly. I was slumped over, feeling the warm tears leaving cold tracks on my face, hugging myself, staring out through the cracked window to the end of the abandoned alley just as the first rays of cold light peeked over the top of the tall buildings around me. I heard something rustling nearby. I did everything that I could to be as quiet as possible. However, it didn't sound right. There was no squeaking from shoes nor any of their manic laughter. It gave me enough courage to start moving. I unfolded my stiff, numb limbs and started pulling myself with every ounce of self-control, forcing myself to unfold. I crawled onto the street, my numb fingers somehow screaming in protest and touching the residue of sleet. And when I emerged out, I saw him. Jake was sniffing around the alley. I remember being confused and scared when I first saw him. Convinced I was about to be eaten by a wolf, I tried to crawl back into the car. But even before I could, I started hearing the squeaking. A clown turned down the alley and I recognized him. Even though his clothes were filthy from the efficiency of his work, his face was almost untouched, except for a small cut across his cheek. His face was still a mask of sorrow, his white face stained black by his tears. He pointed at me, a gesture that went from fear to anger. He started sobbing, though it became intermixed with shouts and screams. His face warped, the grief sliding off like a mask off of his face and being replaced by anger. He ran at me. I couldn't run. My tired limbs refused to obey my frantic commands. I couldn't scream. My throat refused to open. I hid my eyes, not wanting to see death. I felt him drag me up by my hair. He threw me against the car and he started tying my hands with a handkerchief from before. It was still wet with his black tears and something else that was simultaneously slimy and crusty. He wrapped my hand for what felt like 5 minutes before he got distracted. It was the sound of claws on metal. I looked up with the last of my energy to see Jake standing on the car next to me, his hackles raised and his lips stretched into a snarl. The clown pointed at Jake and did a little dance. His face slipped off of him again. Suddenly, a giant smile grew on his face, far exceeding the boundaries of his head. He reached forward to touch Jake on his head, ignoring the sound of Jake's growls as it grew in volume. Before the clown could make contact, the wolf leapt from the car onto the clown. In the suddenness of a wood chipper, the air was filled with confetti, sparkles, and rainbow gore. There was stillness in the air. I lay there, eyes closed, praying that Jake could move on. Instead, he jumped next to me, and he started sniffing by my feet and then working my way up my body, ending by my ears. My whole body tensed, waiting for him to lunge out at me. But he started licking my ear and cheek. I know it's strange, but I can remember to this day his breath smelled like cake batter and maple syrup. I laughed. I couldn't help it. Even though I was cold, hurt, and mentally scarred, some things on earth will always make you laugh no matter the circumstances. And being licked by a dog in the ear will always make anyone laugh. I suddenly felt a surge of energy come back into me as I lifted my arms trying to get away from the relentless licking. I sat up, but he kept following me, licking and sniffing, and before I knew it, I was on my feet, holding my tied hands in front of me, pleading for mercy. The dog looked at me, and then at my hands, then at the long trail of handkerchief that still led back to the inside of the clown's pocket. He huffed, play-bowed, his great bushy tail wagging in the air. Before I could stop him, he grabbed the handkerchief rope and pulled. I lost my balance and fell to the ground, and when I looked up, I saw the wolf running full force to the end of the alley, unraveling the giant mound of cloth that encased my hand. It took nearly 20 feet before I could get my hands free. He came prancing back, looking prouder than I've ever seen a dog look. I sat up and put my back against the wall, and he curled up by my feet, his furry body instantly warming my legs. I don't think I've ever touched a softer, nicer dog, even if his face and body were slicked by rainbow-colored blood and confetti. That's how I came to adopt Jake. I don't know what happened to his original owner, but Jake seems to have been his name because he always responds to Jake. So yeah, Jake's my beautiful wolf boy.
Wow, Sam. It sounds like he did save your life. That is awesome. Can't say I've ever seen a dog with those color blue eyes before, but otherwise, it looks like your typical North American gray wolf, or Canis lupus. Normally, yes, wolves make for horrible pets. Part of the problem being that a normally friendly wolf could snap and destroy you. But like I said, no adult wolf has blue eyes, so I am at a loss for what he is. Without a DNA test kit, I couldn't answer that question for you.
All right, everyone. So I went and spent the $150. So, okay. All right, everyone. I didn't want to spend the $150, but I guess I kind of have to. I'll keep you guys updated with what I found. Update. Sorry it took so long to get back to you. Jake did not want to get tested. He's normally such a good boy, but all of a sudden he became very naughty. He refused to let me swab his cheek for a week. I finally had to surprise him while he slept through my movie. He hates Hallmark movies. And I must have done the DNA test kit wrong, though, because the people called me up and told me that I hadn't even swabbed the cheek of a dog, but of that of a 17-year-old European white boy. I don't know how I messed up the test kit that bad, but since I don't have another $150, I guess all I have to do...
What a trip. Wow.
So are we assuming werewolf? Or because like werewolves will change back. So is this somebody who like discovered they have wolf powers and got stuck?
Is this just a furry? I have to ask once. Is this just a benevolent furry?
So, sorry, the reason I chose the story, there's a multitude of reasons.
There's so many.
there are
There's
so
so
many.
much to unpack here.
Oh,
First off, the clowns.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is typical, like, you know. Well, first of all, we don't know what happened to Alice. Alice got shoved in a bag. Alice could still be alive. Alice could be dead.
Alice could be at the North Pole.
Yeah. No
This
one
could be
knows.
Santa's bag. We don't.
Yeah. And then the ringleader being made fun of by his subordinates as they, you know, kind of feed him then don't, and then feed him till he pops, which makes more
and then they
clowns.
turn into more clowns.
And then you re-sew and start
And
the
do
process.
it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
there's-
no, that one was weird.
Yeah. And then this tiny little detail, because like, okay, one-off experience, still absolutely insane. But did you catch that, like, she's in the alley and describing, like, the music, and she says that you would hear near one of their nests.
Right.
She's just got prior knowledge. This is... What?
It's either that or, like, inside of the author's head, right?
Right.
It's either that or the clown things have become so common afterwards.
Yeah,
Right.
That now it's so this may have been the first time this happened, but now that you know there's just so many of them, they may just be out in the woods, and when you get too close, you just hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, also not really doing the professional clowns of our world any service by describing clowns as animalistic and almost kind of like I got weird bug vibes from it.
Yeah. I'm not thinking humanoid. I'm thinking like these these aren't normal clowns. Believe it or not, if I had to submit my best guess, I'm gonna say these aren't the people that dress up and make balloon animals.
You mean the last time you were at a child's birthday party, you didn't see the one where 12 clowns got together and feed people to the biggest clown? It's a classic.
It's a messed up little clown slide.
Oh,
Dude, tell you what though, I was like, I like just closed my eyes like halfway through, like as you're describing this, like this horrific scene, and like, you're right, we have fully departed from the realm of failed horror, because there are elements of this to me that like totally break my immersion, but there were moments with that where I'm like, oh my god.
yeah.
Whoa.
I also love that inside of this universe, the clowns aren't even that particularly efficient at hunting people. Their oversized shoes give them away, and then they still stumble and trip over
But
things.
like, here's the thing, though. Like, especially if you get gang rushed by a whole bunch of them. If you get gang rushed by a whole bunch of them, like what happened in the bar? Everybody was just too stunned to do anything.
Yeah.
They're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Also, I want to know the size of this bar now, so that we know how big this clown grew.
Yeah, because it says like he's like hunched up against the ceiling.
Yeah, so like, are we talking like an 8-foot tall, you know,
like a drop ceiling kind of like hole in the wall?
Yeah, but then like the fact that he grew to where he needed to be on his hands and knees and was still touching and like had trouble moving, like like if he was outside of the bar, would he have been able to move more freely, or is that just a limit when they go into their, tall boy form that they just become inept?
He's just big clown, Clifford the Big Red Clown.
A woof.
I don't know. Profoundly uncomfortable.
I think the thing was that it described them like flesh spikes.
Yeah,
so
and
I don't really think there's a
breaking.
lot of stability.
Yeah. Because
Like
I was
AT-ATs?
yeah. So I know that you haven't. How far have you gotten in Attack on Titan?
I am at the end of. I'm gonna get flack for this. I finished season 1. I haven't picked it back up since. I'm at the part where what's her name, Anne, I think, or whatever, like the blonde,
The female Titan.
yeah, it turns into like she like crystallizes, and
Okay.
they're like, oh well, heck.
And you see that there's Titans in the walls and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So in season 2, is when you kind of get like hints at like Titans being made and stuff, and that they're made from humans. Spoiler.
Spoiler for a show that's been done for several years.
No, it's the final episode of season 4 is still yet to be released. At least the
Okay.
English
All
dub. No, you come to find out that it's not always perfect. Like, because normally you'll get a walking Titan. Only the special ones have the powers and stuff and have full control. Everybody else just kind of bumbles around. But every once in a while, there's a failed one where it's just like skin tightly wrapped around bone and like they can't move.
Oh.
And that's what I'm getting from this is just, like it's debilitated. It's too big. It's just,
Yeah.
it's not doing much. It's just kind of trying to reach and grab.
Yeah. For the one person who's been living under Patrick Starr's boulder for the past several years and has no idea what Attack on Titan is, 15-second primer. Post-apocalyptic medieval society. They live behind walls because they're these giant humanoid creatures that are basically just like walking, like some of them are skinless, just like flesh puppets basically. They just eat people.
And that's wrong when you watch season 4.
Oh, perfect.
Well, one of the things that I noticed about this story when I was going through it, it's not like they get more matter, right? That the way that it's described, it's like an average sized person that either gets like squished down or stretched out.
Yeah.
So like the taller they get, the less mobile they become.
Yeah. They're just
They're
following they're
Funhouse mirror.
well
clowns,
and they're
but
following the rules of physics where you can't add or subtract. Like anything cannot, like just immediately add or subtract matter. They're just, just redistributing that throughout themselves.
Hypothetically, based on that, the most dangerous, most powerful clowns are actually the short kings. Like when they're down at that level, they've got the most kinetic
especially
energy
if they can
available.
fold out a country.
But see, here's the thing though. You have to, the scariest of clowns would be, and like, I'm assuming you'd find this out living in that world. It would be a clown that was shorter and had smaller shoes. Because there's
less squeakage.
Well, not that, but there's a point where shortness and shoe length. Because like if they're too short, the shoe, like they wouldn't be able to properly run.
Yeah.
With how big the shoes are. So there's a point where the shortness becomes a detriment too. Like you need to find that happy medium.
A short king with a decent set of Nikes would be
terrifying.
You're done. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, just lay down and make peace with your god. Like,
or befriend a furry.
Yeah.
And now we do need to jump over to that part of the story because that
Jake,
was one of the most delightful.
I was
weird
gonna say because
side tangents.
I was gonna because the clowns, in essence, like I mean, they were the scary part, but
they
like
steal the show.
In terms of like actual story, like they pertain to none of this. This is a dog forum.
Yeah, no, this is a dog forum. Which, by the way, just imagine that, like the mental state of the person who's like jumped onto the dog forum and is like,
oh, I'm curious. Let me see what kind of dog this is. Like, that's a cool picture. Clowns.
Can you imagine one day you're scrolling through the internet and you're just like, Oh, look, it's a dog form. I love dog. Oh.
Is sending the clowns public domain? I'm looking it up.
I mean, if we get a copyright strike, we get a copyright strike. It's not like we're monetized yet.
It's 1 out of our 3. It's worth it.
Oh man. So yeah, no, the dog.
The dog
has an interesting breath. I don't know if that smell comes from the clown or if that's just
it came
a
from the
natural
clown.
state of the dog boy.
I think it came from the clown because like the blood isn't even really described like blood.
It's
like,
rainbow.
Yeah, unicorn gore, which is just the best.
And then like the insides of the clown are kind of like
confetti
and sparkles. Yeah. So I imagine that
it's like
that wolf's maw smells like
every G.I. Joe game because they weren't allowed to do full gore, and so they would always have the enemies deteriorate. And people are like, "Well, why does that happen?" And like in universe, they're like, "Yeah, when you get so bad, you don't die. You just fizzle. There's no blood. You just because you get so corrupt. That's the clowns. They're so corrupt. They don't have normal body anymore. It's just." Confetti.
Also, I love that the subtext of the story is that the clowns only attacked because Alice screamed, right? They were all just sitting around and watching.
Yeah.
They were just happy to do their thing.
They were all... It was almost like they were testing a joke out on people to see what their response was going to be.
And the response was not good. So they got mad. Now, again...
Masterclass in dealing with hecklers, man.
Let's get back to what this was about, though. Let's get back to the dog.
Back to the good old dog boy, Jake.
Yeah, so...
Jake the dog. Oh, and Finn the human. Well, okay. Well, that's where it came from, clearly.
Yeah. Oh, lordy.
The Indiana Jones lore, too?
Yeah!
Can we just pit stop and...
Well, see, so here's the thing, like, again, I work at a university, and so, like, I immediately was like, what professor in their right mind knows how to use a bullwhip? They're all lame, and then I was like,
da-da-da-da,
da-da-da.
The other thing that I love is that timeline-wise, it doesn't work, right?
Well,
like Indiana Jones was a professor in like 1920.
Well, and I mean, who's to say that he just didn't pass down the legacy, and all his other kids have been Professor Treasure Hunter bullwhip wielders?
There we go. It could be a long
legacy.
line. That is a legacy.
A long line of bullwhip wielding treasure hunters.
That moonlight in universities.
That moonlight, you know?
But no, so dog,
yes. No, back to the dog.
Wolf. Not even like part wolf, because like it didn't come back with
Jake is all boy.
Yeah.
Jake is all boy.
Yeah, that's the because like you think like werewolf.
23andMe said so.
Yeah, you think. Well, okay, wait. How did the dog DNA test kit though come back all boy?
Well,
someone
I
sitting
think
there must have been like, this just doesn't come up a match as anything in our system. We need to go more broad.
Yeah. They reached out to, the government and was like, hey, do you want to lick it?
Flavor? You want to make flavor beans for these?
Well, also I don't think that DNA test kit people normally call each participant.
No. Normally you just get a letter in the mail.
Yeah.
But they were like, hey,
why'd you swab a boy and send this into the dog testing people?
They're like, we can tell when you send in somebody else's urine for a drug test, right?
It's like to be on the receiving end of that DNA, you definitely think that somebody was like, oh man, they're in some really kinky stuff, and she just has a dude follow her around wearing a collar, crapping in her yard.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about that reality here for a second, because if the story was true, this girl has a dog that she thinks is a dog that is not a dog, and she's been keeping a 17-year-old as a pet.
Yeah.
Well, and how do you
So, like, is this in her mind that the dog, like, was this an actual...
Well, she sent
was
a
this-
picture
And
to
it's
the forum.
very convincing.
Yeah. Okay, I was going to say, because, like, is this just a trauma-induced hallucination where it's just an actual
got it.
kid that she thinks is a dog?
It's the Star Wars. What's the the thing that Luke Skywalker he cuts into the thing on Hoth and climbs in it. what is that called? I don't remember.
Bantha.
Bantha.
He just slices the bantha open and climbs in it to get warm. This was a dude that just climbed in there at 15 or 16 years old and realized no, this is kind of working for me.
Well, isn't it like the lore of skinwalkers that the person has the animal pelt and then they wrap it around themselves?
Yeah,
and then
that's a skinwalker. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that this could just be a skinwalker.
Oh, this got way less cute all of a sudden. Oh, this went from wholesome to yee.
Well, no, it's still wholesome in the fact that he doesn't want her to find out, because upon finding out, he'd have to kill her.
That's true.
But she is now found out.
But the dog has been living with her for 2 years.
Yeah, but dog didn't want her to find out that he was not real dog.
Yeah, but the dog could have taken off at any moment.
That's fair. Why would you want to leave, 3 hots in a cot, though?
Well, 1 hot.
1 to 2 hots, depending on how you feed your dog.
Jake the Skinwalker and Finn the Human.
So yeah,
I love this. There's not a part of this I don't adore. This is I have nothing bad to say. This is just beautiful from front to back.
So
as is our tradition on the podcast,
let's before we hit up that AI story, though, Steven.
No. We need a rating.
Rate this,
Oh,
man.
we gotta rate this.
Yeah.
What do you rate this person who's trying to figure out about her good doggo?
So doggo 2, clowns 4.
Okay.
Oh, you're waiting for me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm dissociating over here. I've been taken through such a roller coaster because, like on the front end, I'm like, oh, there's stuff about this that's really funny, and it's Britney and all that, and then just the clowns. That genuinely got under my skin in a way that I can't really I didn't really like clowns to begin with, but now it's I'm gonna be avoiding birthday parties for my kid's entire childhood.
Especially the way the clown's face slides off of them.
Yes,
That was the terminology that I couldn't get over. Was
it
just
reminds me of Ko the Face Stealer from Avatar.
Where it's just
melts in.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rolodexes through facial features.
Yeah, I'm skeezing out over here, dude. I'm tweaking. It's okay. The clowns get a 5 for me. There's no. That is my first. Have I given a legitimate 5? Have I given a non-joke 5?
No.
This is my first legit 5. That was horrible. The worst. Even it being the unicorn gore did not soften the blow for me. I would have been more comfortable if they bled red like people do. Because now it's just cool. I've just been beaten to death by a funfetti bag of horrors.
well, not beaten to death. I mean, nobody actually died in the
Vored
story.
and transformed.
Yeah, I was gonna say beaten within an inch of your life.
Zombied.
Yeah, beaten within an inch of your life, and then became a zombie.
Yeah, I just yeah, and then the Skinwalker thing is just something about being manipulated into living with something that you think is a floof. If one of my cats turned out to be a small child, I would move. That's your house now. You can pick up the payments.
You can pick up the
You figure that out. It's yours now.
Looks 4-year-old in the eye. You can pick up the payments.
You figured out You figured out how to put yourself into a cat body and fool me into thinking you were actually a cat this whole time. You're clearly on a higher plane of existence than I am.
Maybe that's why they pee on you all the time.
That could be
so
the
they
case.
can prove that they're dumb.
But like, yeah, no.
Okay, thank you for specifying the proving that they're dumb. Yeah.
It's asserting dominance or something. But yeah, no. So that gets at least a 3. I think I have to stop at 3 though, because the span between that and the clowns is just there is a canyon between.
Yeah,
them.
no, there is a 2. There is a 2, at least a 2 gap. Yeah.
Yeah. The physical reaction you guys had to the drink today is the emotional reaction I had to that story. Just minute to minute. And Josh, you're looking down and you're reading and you're doing your job so studiously. And I'm just looking at Bradley the whole time, second to second, just progressively going,
It was great. I loved it. Well, what do you give it?
No, the clown things, like I've said before, clowns don't really mess me up that much because, I mean...
Well, like, if she was able to do damage with a bullwhip, with a pistol, you'd be set.
Yeah. So,
fair.
and the fact that they don't really kill you, but then again, maybe it's a fate worse than death becoming like them.
Yeah.
seems to me. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm putting that at 3.5. I imagine that there are... To me, there's scarier things out there than just a pod of animalistic alien clowns. I don't know.
Name one.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Apes.
Bigfoot. Who could rip you from stem to stern without flexing?
Agree to disagree.
I'm just saying, I would go to my dad's house and then that would be it. That would just be the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. There would just
fair.
be a bunch of clown confetti floating in the wind. Oh, gross. Wait, so if you like shot one, would it like empty out like a sack? It's like a sack filled with sparkles and confetti, and
like
then
the-
like
like
if
the
you
Greek-
like ripped it open, would it just leave like a sack of clown flesh with
It's like the Greek, the sacks, the bags of the 4 winds, you know? You just open it and they're just carried aloft immediately.
Just it's like confetti in air and dust just getting blown out of a clown. It's like,
just the sound of, just the melancholic sound of that final nose honk.
as it go,
oh, that's gross. It's almost like they're not even like. It's almost like they don't even have like bones or something. It's like they're jellyfish, kind of. They're just like
yeah.
because like the way that the author kept describing them as being liquidy or just like
Yeah.
Sleuthing.
Which would explain why, they are able to grow and shrink
yeah.
and stretch.
Yeah. Anyway, clowns 3.5. I can think of scarier things like Bigfoot. Bigfoot legitimately terrifies me. Or
That's fair.
waking up and having a tall, slender man
disagree.
staring
That's
at you
fair.
over your bed. Or as I was listening back to the episode about the rake, waking up and having to go milk your rake every morning. It's just one of these things that are just... yeah, I can think of scarier things. Weirdly enough, I'm going to go put dog that you think is dog but isn't dog. I'm putting that at a 4. That one messes me up more.
That's fair.
Like if I came home and found out that the
I do
dog
get that.
that was licking me every night was actually a 17-year-old.
Oh.
Like, and that's the other thing. It's like I don't know how old the girl is, but
I'm
she's
assuming
like,
shortly after college.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is like so.
but like the girl comes home and the dog licks her face and stuff, and that's actually like a boy who's doing it.
This is like Me Too caliber. This is really. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
no, that
really
one messes me
bad.
up. So
Yeah, now that you say that, it's kind of it harkens back to that one creepypasta story where the girl takes her hand,
Yes,
and,
exactly.
and sticks it because the dog would be under the bed and would lick her hand, and then in the morning she goes and the dog was dead and the killer was just licking her hand.
Yeah, and the
all
killer
night.
wrote in blood, humans can lick too, which always made me laugh because like the tongue had to like, there's a lot to a dog tongue that is not normally done by a human tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Anyway, yeah, I'm putting the
I think I got to elevate mine to a 4 because of that.
I'm putting the Skinwalker dog to a 4.
The licking in the lap and the sharing a bed and everything, and that being a person that went from oh man,
Yeah,
that's like Jeffrey Dahmer scary. That's like if you try to leave, I'm gonna put parts of you in my freezer forever scary.
But you also got to think, like, I could be wrong, but I thought Skinwalker lore was their job. They were like parasitic. Like, it's not necessarily a sexual thing. It's just
We don't know if this is actually a Skinwalker.
That's
though.
fair. That's fair.
Like there's not enough clarification on that for me to be just like definitively like, yeah, like you're just
Well, okay.
existing.
If it's a Skinwalker, I think it's more of a parasitic relationship where it's like, me to continue to survive, I need to pretend
like a roommate that doesn't pay rent, basically. Yeah, just like eating your groceries and just lazing about the place and just laying in your lap and licking you and
just like everybody's roommate experience.
Well, I was gonna say everybody's pet experience.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like regular pets. Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, 3.5 for the clowns, 4 for the boy. We should briefly talk about the email that we did get to the Spoops pod, right?
Yeah. No, I seen it earlier in the week.
Hey, I got excited. Okay, this is our first ever email in.
Yeah,
from
I was gonna say I sent it.
somebody who was a fan.
Yeah, I sent it.
Sorry, this was a real person, not like a robot.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, for the viewers at home, I'm not on the email, so this is all news.
Yeah, no. So we got an email, and I told my wife, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome!" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I opened it, and I was like, "Never mind."
Well, actually,
are we sure we want to talk about this on and?
I think we need to.
Well, no.
Okay.
I think it's important to set tone and stuff. But we got the email from the very real sounding A23ACV@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't just hit a spasm of random characters while making a email. So I'm honored that Mark decided that he was going to go ahead and make a custom email address for us.
Yeah.
Okay. So should we read the email first? Yeah, let's read the email.
I'm just going to ask this quickly as the producer of the podcast. Like, are you sure we want this on camera? I haven't seen this. I don't know what is this.
It's a slight complaint, I guess, but I think it's very important to address where we're coming from and why we feel the way that we do.
Right. It's also important, I think, for us to establish legality and tone that just because people request things doesn't mean that we're always going to do things. Okay. Let me read the email and then we can decide afterwards. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gentlemen, enclosed is the script of a story that we would like for you to edit out of your story. We understand that your audience is small and the damage is in total minimal. However, I think it is important for us to establish one thing. The story isn't for you. This story was neither created to be mocked by barely literate internet trolls. Ironic that I did stumble over that line. Nor barely literate. Nor is it meant for the general throbbing mass of humanity. Don't talk to me about throbbing masses, okay? You have your own horror stories, each created to inspire or teach you an important lesson. This story was meant to communicate anything to you? This story wasn't meant to communicate anything to you.
I was going to say, keep in mind, the story that he wrote had profound grammatical errors as well. So,
okay,
not shocking that the email is spotty.
Okay. The contents neither relate to your life experience, nor will it communicate anything that is applicable. As such, we kindly ask that you remove it forthwith, or at least add a disclaimer communicating that this story is not meant for your listeners. There is a power to stories, and when used accordingly, it can create much beauty. However, the beauty that is a fire, when taken out of the fireplace, becomes destructive, or a mislaid knife can injure the hunter instead of the prey. Thank you in advance for your understanding. Signed, Concerned. Now, it doesn't state at any point that this is the author. I do want that to be noted.
I guess that's fair.
That's interesting. What story is this in
So
regards to?
the story that this is in regards to
It's the stupidest story. I hated it so much.
Is you're next. You're out of breath. You have been running from that maniac for hours. You tell
that
yourself,
one.
I think I got away from him.
The one where we argued for 20 minutes about whether it was valid to run into a cemetery. And
Yes,
hide.
that one.
Yeah.
That one.
Oh my god, dude!
Yeah, no,
if
this
the-
person this person comes out with some serious heat about
that.
Fire out of a fireplace is destructive, and the deeper dude, if the author brought this level of eloquence and opulence to the story, it would have gotten a higher score from me. What, dude?
okay.
What is the deeper meaning here?
Okay, so I got this. Okay,
I shouldn't be saying these things.
and I looked, and I'm like, okay. Legally,
Yeah.
they posted it to Troll Pasta.
Yeah, dude, you're asking for it.
Yeah. When you post it for everyone to see, it is for everyone at that point.
Yeah, we are the intended audience. This, it's not for you thing. What?
Yeah. I guess here's my big thing. Tough. No. it's just okay. So no, like I feel for you, or I feel for whoever this may or may. I feel for whoever feels wronged, I guess. And you know, I get that, but also at the same time, don't post it to a wiki.
Specifically, the Troll Pasta wiki.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that the other thing that got me here, okay? So first off, and I guess this is, I've been thinking about this one, okay?
Yeah.
Right? And at least one of the reasons that I wanted to share this email is that it made me think of a concept that I did want to explore with you boys, which is, what does it mean for a horror story not to be for someone?
So this is what I think. I don't know if I would agree.
Are we saying under valid circumstances? Or are we saying in this circumstance?
Here's what I think.
Okay.
And then you can base yours off that.
Okay.
I think that horror as a medium is meant to be enjoyed. I don't know if there's any larger lessons that can necessarily be gleaned or taught from a horror thing other than, you know, maybe don't hide in the chainsaw. Maybe don't hide in the chainsaw shed. But
Classic lesson.
yeah,
Valid.
Should really teach that in kindergarten.
Or things like don't split from the group.
yeah.
Or maybe don't hide in a cemetery.
But here's my thing, and here's what it boils down to. I think everybody has the right to consume media, and to that point, stories are made to be shared and consumed. And to say that this story is not for you is a disparage upon our community and upon us, because basically saying that they are not mentally equipped to enjoy a story that is less than 1,000 words is an insult.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. I guess this is where
Aside
it
from the
might.
barely literate neckbeards thing or whatever. Internet trolls. Yeah.
Such a profound roast. So the no, the thing that got me here was like, okay, would I be able to understand a horror story that a dog wrote? Okay, now hold me out, because that's a dumb thought. But right, like, what would my dog's horror story sound like? Like the crate that never opened?
Well, I was
The,
going to say, like,
Yeah.
let's change this from like a horror story to like a nightmare.
Right.
Could we truly ever understand? Because like it's proven that animals dream.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, could we comprehend the dream or the nightmare of an animal, and could they comprehend ours?
Right. So like I was hearing this and I was like, okay, so either the author is on this kick about how you didn't appreciate my story, so the story wasn't for you, it was for people who appreciate my story. Or alternatively, was the person stating that this story was meant for other beings.
Interesting.
That's the reason I wanted to share it with you. It wasn't that I wanted us to get into a philosophical conversation about our right to legally say these stories, because we have the legal right to say them. And if you're afraid of criticism, don't write. But
Fair. It's very Hemingway of you.
But the other thing is, like, I don't know if you are a extra dimensional being who is listening to the podcast. Thank you. Make sure that you leave a review on your extra dimensional media sources for us. And just note that I'm sorry that we didn't understand your story from the perspective that of the person who was meant for.
Could you imagine if this was First Contact? Could you imagine if this was it?
If this was First Contact and our first contact to him was, no, shut up,
Get out of here,
silly goose. So, like, okay, I do want to, like, the philosophical end of this, I find pretty interesting. I do think that horror traditionally has always been used to communicate a theme, or, like, okay, admittedly, slasher horror has been about fluff for a long time, but, like, you can't read something like The Monkey's Paw and tell me there's not a common theme there.
I guess
like,
that's
be careful
fair.
what you wish for, or that, like, you know, like, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein isn't about, you know, our perception of people and, you know, like, what makes a monster, you know? That being said, we're talking very different substrata.
I was going to say, you're talking Frankenstein?
This
Creepypasta.
Well, and like my point in that being not that I fundamentally disagree with what you're saying on this level, but generally speaking, if someone's going to submit an email that's of that caliber about this kind of stuff, you better have the chops to actually say it means something.
Of a certain caliber, shall we say. I think the author was in a little bit of haste when they were writing that, because they missed more than a few words. No offense, author, but proofread your own stuff, man.
Grammarly's awesome.
Yeah.
Grammarly is awesome.
It's just great.
Yeah. And free.
This is true.
We're not sponsored. We could be.
No,
we
we're
could
not.
be.
Okay. So that was just the little email that we got in, and the fun concept that I wanted to share with you guys, which was, what if we accidentally read a story that wasn't meant for us? I don't even know what that means.
Who would it be meant for?
Crypt Keepers.
Was it
Well,
meant for
also-
you? Man,
Felicia.
I never realized how weird your eyes were.
Yeah. No, that's why I bought Felicia, man. Because those eyes are not.
They're just a hair too close together, aren't they?
I don't know.
They're not in the right spot in proportion to the nose. That's really the issue.
Yeah. It's like Bugsy, but with small eyes.
No, the other thing that
That thing we do with the stuff in the place.
You know, there is a story that was meant for us. And I can 100% guarantee that, because AI generated it.
And we asked for it.
Specifically for us.
we asked for it. Bradley, do you want to go ahead and close us out?
I was going to say, you did a lot of the reading, so I can take this one. This is today's AI story from, of course, Bing's AI. Here we go. Once upon a time, in a world far away from ours, there lived a group of animalistic clowns. They were unlike any other clowns you might have seen before. They had sharp teeth, long claws, and fur all over their bodies. They were feared by many, but they were also respected for their strength and agility. One day, they met Ingrid Cole, a famous actress. Man, they screwed up that name. A famous actress who was known for her daring roles. She was
Did I mistype that in?
Indrid. Instead of Ingrid, it's a D, but you know, you're good.
I'm gonna predict this since we're punched out anyway. I think this is gonna accidentally write where the wild things are.
Okay.
The furry clowns thing, I'm picturing where the wild things are.
Okay.
Okay. One day they met Ingrid Cole, a famous actress who was known for her daring roles. She was intrigued by the clowns and decided to hang out with them. They showed her their world and taught her how to fight like them. As they were hanging out one day, they heard about the Mothman, a creature that was terrorizing the nearby town. The clowns decided to take matters into their own hands and cage match the Mothman. The cage match was intense. The Mothman was strong and fast, but the clowns were fierce and determined. They fought with all their might, using their claws and teeth to take down the Mothman. In the end, the clowns emerged victorious. They had defeated the Mothman and saved the town from its terror. Ingrid Cole was proud of her new friends and decided to join them on their adventures. From that day on, the animalistic clowns and Ingrid Cole became inseparable because she was swallowed and turned into one. They went on many adventures together, fighting evil where they found it, and they lived happily ever after.
The end.
No, learn more.
It did not write where the wild things are. There was a minute there. There was a minute, but
Sure. What other creatures did they fight? Tell us more about Ingrid Cole. Can you draw a picture of the animalistic clowns? Stop responding. New topic.
Oh, man.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.